Welcome to an SFB Addict video.
Alright, SFB fans out there, we've got another Federation versus Klingon Cadet cruiser game here between myself and Raffello. Now, this is version 15 of the client, and the newest feature in version 15 is the rules list. So you just click on the button for rules lists, and it brings up this little window, and you can actually bring up these 5 different windows, which is basically a list of the SFB rules, and you can basically checkmark or uncheckmark the various items that you and your opponent are going to be using for the game that you're playing. Now when this opens, it'll probably be defaulted to everything checkmarked, so you just take off the checkmarks for the things you're not using. For instance, in this particular game, Raffello and myself decided to use overloaded weapons. And when it came to shuttles, we decided that we were going to use wild weasels and suicide shuttles in addition to the manned shuttles. Now, just because we're planning on using the rules doesn't mean that we're actually going to get to use the rules during the course of the game, which you'll find out when we play this one back. Okay, so I'm going to move the Federation and the Klingon ship SSDs off to the side of the screen so you can see the map. And I'm going to zoom out to about 50%. Oh, let's make that 60%. Yeah, 63 will do. And put it back to 50. And we have all of our charts that we're going to be using during the game off to the right, and we're using a small fixed map. And basically, if we go off the map, we disengage. So I'll just click through the various turns. This game lasts 4 turns. Okay, so I was playing the Federation, and this is the energy allocation that I did. We're coming in at weapon status 3, so I'm holding one fully overloaded photon torpedo, and I'm finishing the arming of a second torpedo for 6. And I just noticed I made a mistake. No I didn't. These 2 points of holding is non-warp power because it's holding, where this is 6 points of arming. So 6 points of warp for arming the photon and 10 points of moving equates to the 16 warp that I have. So that's the top speed I could go. For a moment there I thought I had gone 2 points too fast. But I just realized that's 2 points of holding, not 2 points of arming. And you'll notice I'm holding a suicide shuttle. And I took a screenshot of Raffello's energy allocation form after the game was over. So let's see what he did. He's going in speed 12, he's holding standards, and he put 4 points in the general reinforcement. So there we go, our respective speeds. Klingon is speed 12, Federation is speed 10. And this is the impulse moving chart that we're using, so speed 10s and speed 12s.
No actions. 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 Thinking.
Range is now 8.
No actions. Open fire window.
So here he fired 2 phaser 2s and 2 disruptors. He forgot to copy his firing orders into the chat window, but here it is. Fire phaser 2, number 1 and 2, and disruptor A and D. So he did 4 points to the Federation.
No actions. No actions. No actions. Open fire window.
Fed is firing 1 overloaded photon and 2 phaser 1s. Klingon's firing 1 phaser 2. And the Fed rolls really badly. And does 2 points to the Klingon. And here the Klingon forgot that he had 4 points of general.
No actions. No actions. No actions. Open fire window.
Range is 5. Fed's firing 1 overloaded photon and 1 phaser 1. And again, rolls badly. And here he had 4 points of general, which he completely forgot to use. If he had put that into specific reinforcement, that would have been 1 point of damage on the Klingon shield. But he completely forgot that he had the general reinforcement and ended up taking the full 5.
Ready. No actions. Launching weapon. Ready. No actions.
And here the Fed is running for his life.
No actions. No actions.
Okay, turn 2. First turn of arming on my photons. 3 points into phasers. Speed 12 is as fast as I can go because 2 and 2 here is warp power. And still holding the suicide shuttle. Fired 3 phasers turn 1. 1 point left in the capacitor. Plus the 3 that I'm arming means I'm fully armed again. Klingon. 3 into phasers. Armed standard disruptors. Is going speed 11. And again puts 2 points of general reinforcement into his reinforcement. Still completely forgetting that he had the general. if at this point he had said, oh, I had remembered, or I'd forgotten, I now remember I had 4 general, he could have taken off 2 points off of the damage on his number 3 shield. But he still forgot. And since I can't see his energy allocation form because it's secret, he lives with that fact, unfortunately. Now, he did make a mistake here in his energy allocation form. This 4 here should be a 1 because he fired 3. So he had 4 armed, he fired 3, means 1 is left over. And then during the turn, he arms 3 more, which puts it back up to 4, but you don't actually put a 4 here. That's the remainder of what's in the capacitor at the start of the turn before doing energy allocation. Ignore the speed 10 here. I was clicking on the impulse chart to clear it, and I accidentally clicked on the impulse 10. Okay, Federation is coming in speed 12. And Klingon on speed 11.
No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions.
So right there at the top of the turn, I was within overload range. He could have fired overloads at me, but he decided not to. And came in with standards.
No actions.
And here the Fed is basically running for his life to open up the range.
No actions.
While he's arming his photons.
No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions.
And here I accidentally double-clicked my movement. So I had to take it back and rotate it.
No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions. No actions.
And that was a mistake, me going to the right. Now here I could fire at the drones, but if it's a speed 10 drone, looking at the chart, it's either a phaser 3 drone or it's a C3 4.6 explosive drone. And we would be firing at the same impulse. I should have fired one phaser 3 into it just to make sure for efficiency's sake, but I decided not to fire.
No actions. Fire window.
So here I decided to fully overload one photon. That's 14 warp, 15, 16 warp. So that's as fast as I can go with speed 8. 3 general, still holding the suicide shuttle. And the Klingon for turn 3. Speed 12, still standards, finishes arming, or rearms his phasers. I shouldn't say finish, he's just rearming it. And again, he's still making the same type of mistake here with his phaser capacitor. So that should have been a 1. He fired 2 during the turn, but he had recharged it by 3, which would again have left it at a 1. And again, during this turn, he puts in 2 plus the 1, so that shouldn't be a 4. Or sorry, that is a 4. That would be a 2, not a 1, because he fired 2, not 3. So that should be a 4, that should be 1, that should be a 2. But anyway, he's probably just using a different style for using those lines. Fed speed 8, Klingon speed 12.
No actions. Open fire window.
And here I decide to finally shoot the drone since it didn't shoot at me on impulse 16. And I kill it.
No actions. No actions.
So here it would be range 3 shooting his number 6. I decide to hold, fire.
No actions. No actions.
Fire a phaser 1 at him here, I believe.
Open fire window.
Got 1 phaser 1. And he fires back. And I had reinforcement, which would fix that shield. And my saying I had reinforcement should have reminded him that he also had general reinforcement of 2 points for 1 reinforcement. So instead of taking 5, he should have taken 4. But again, he forgot that he had reinforcement.
No actions. No actions.
Okay, so now I get to shoot at range 2 instead of range 3. And instead of shooting his number 6 shield, I'm shooting instead his number 4 shield.
Open fire window. Open fire window.
So I fire 1 overloaded photon and 1 phaser 1 at the Klingon. I could have fired 2 phaser 1s. But I'm deciding to hold 1 back in case he launches a drone. And here we do 16 points of damage, plus 5 on an 8-point shield. He's draining battery. And he completely forgets, again, about his 2 points of general reinforcement. So here he could have taken 10 inside instead of 11 inside. And he took a shuttle hit as a weapon hit.
Ready.
And he took a lot of weapon hits in that set of damage.
Ready.
here, the Klingon should have turned and just disengaged. That's what he meant to do, top of turn 4.
Open fire window.
Okay, and this is what the Klingon does for EA, turn 4. Again, standard, speed 10. Again, 2 general reinforcement. And of course, he lost 4 power due to damage. Now, if he was planning on disengaging, here he could have just foregone arming his disruptors altogether. And he could have foregone the general and just put everything in the movement. And my turn 4. I've earned my other photon as a fully overload. Speed 6 is as fast as I can go. Still holding the suicide shuttle.
Shuttle bay operations. No actions. Open fire window.
He gave me his down shield, so I shot him with a phaser 1. And did 3 internals. And here, he finally clued in on the general reinforcement because I specifically asked if he had any, because it was a down shield.
No actions. No actions.
I could have fired at him here, but I wanted to bring my other phaser 1s to bear.
No actions.
His turn to the right here surprised me.
No actions.
And I figured he'd have to side slip and then turn up, giving me his down shield again.
No actions. No actions.
So I held fire. And then he disengages. I should have taken the shot, his 3-point number 3 shield. But you notice the Klingon, top of turn 4, turned left and then eventually went off the board on the right. He just would have been better off either sitting and attacking at speed 0 and reinforcing, or just simply disengaging. But anyway, that's the way the game went. Now I asked him about why he didn't use any overloaded disruptors, and he just decided to go fast. And he did completely forget that he could drain batteries to overload a disruptor. And that was that game. So I hope you enjoyed the game and check out the Vassal Starfleet Battles Cadet module sometime. That's what we were playing.